What's going on, you guys? Slim here with a new video today, and today, you guys, I got another crazy deck profile for you guys. First place undefeated Cosmos by my boy Mason Blake. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for sending me the list, and shout out to my brother Jerry for also sending me the info too. Cosmos in 2021, you guys, and it's actually not my brother Johnny. Like, Johnny's like the only avid Cosmo player, I thought, and Mason came in here and did his thing with this deck, and it's just awesome. So in addition to Dark Magicians doing things in 2021, we also have Cosmo, and I think it's just fantastic. As always, if you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. You also be notified when I stream over on Twitch. Links in the description. While you're down there, consider joining my Discord community. If you want to purchase any of the cards that I talk about, or just cards in general, please use my TCG player link as well as my Gem Accessories affiliate link, as a portion of what you spend on either of those sites will go back to the channel. It helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, if you further want to support me in the channel, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button or by becoming one of my Patreons. With the usual spiel out of the way, you guys, like I said, Cosmos in 2021, this is crazy. I've always loved Cosmos, you know, just the Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, just whole mythology is just like crazy. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I've got a really in-depth reason as to why Mason played this deck. Main reason is he did want to play something fun, but as always, we're going to go over the deck real quick, and then I'm going to read through his matchups as well as the reason for playing this deck. So yeah, if you guys are trying to play Cosmos in 2021, you guys, it's awesome. I know it's playing the Dogmatica engine, but there's no denying just what Ecclesia, the punishments, and what just Nadir adds to the deck, so it's crazy, but we'll get into it. So he is playing one copy of Ecclesia, obviously to go with the Nadirs and the punishments. Punishment is just such a powerful trap card. You do not care at all about your extra deck in this deck, so you literally can play it freely. For the Cosmos, of course, it's triple Cosmo Dark Destroyer. This card is just nuts, along with the one copy of Eclipser. Eclipser taking care of the traps, and Dark Destroyer has just always been insane. Farm Girl, a lot of times you just push your OTKs through with this. You have your Forerunner and your 2 copies of Slip Rider, basically your back row removal in the deck, so I really like that. Just 1 copy of Strawman and triple copies of Tin Can, one copy of Dark Lady, and 2 copies of Wicked Witch. Wicked Witch was always just a personal favorite of mine because I know people have tried this card in other decks, so it's awesome. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, it was, of course, the 1 teleport, the triple Cosmo Town, triple copies of Nadir Servant, of course, to go with the Ecclesia, and then triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. This is without a doubt the best pot for this deck. Like, you could probably play Extrav, like if you're on a budget, compared to Prosperity. Prosperity just lets you see 6 cards. I think that's why that's so important in this deck, is that it lets you see those 6 cards, and that could be really important on the matchup, depending on what you're trying to dig for in order to win. Then the 1 copy of Reasoning. This is actually really cool too, because all the Cosmo monsters are different levels, so that you never know what they're going to be, and even if you hit them into the graveyard, you can bring them back with the next card back to the front, so this card's just great. As well as the 2 copies of Punishment. Already mentioned how you know, the synergy with the Dogmatica card is just great. You can just splash the Dogmatica engine, like a minimal engine like this, into like any deck, especially a deck that doesn't really need to worry about its extra deck, and you could replace your normal extra deck modules with cards like Entis and cards that you get value out of when you send them, so I think it's awesome. And then he chose to main deck triple copies of Evenly Matched. I'll explain about that when we get to the, you know, in-depth report. Triple copies of Ice Dragon's Prison, just one of the best trap cards in the game right now. Only 1 copy of Cosmojo. He sides the 2nd copy. 3 copies of Torrential, and 2 copies of Trap Trip for the main deck. Side deck is 2 copies of Alpha, the 1 white light barrier statue, which goes with the triple Gizmek Uku, triple Dimension Shifter. I absolutely love this. This card is just bonkers. Like, this card will just literally make your opponent pass their turn. 1 copy of Pankratops, 2 copies of Phantasme, the 2nd copy of Cosmojo, and 2 copies of Needle Sealing. The extra deck is just a bunch of crazy stuff. Just 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, triple copies of Entis, the 1 copy of Skull Knight, the 1 copy of Makaba. That'll come off the Nova, depending if your opponent Maximus is you. Same thing with Omega. Same thing, you know, you have the Adignister as well for the pop. You have the Pallades as well as the Nova and the Infinity for your rank 5s. Zeus will come up as well if you do actually go into the extra deck. If you do exceed and you do attack, you are able to actually make a Zeus, because you also play the Gaia Charger. You play the Volcasaurus, which can end games as well. Volcasaurus plus Gaia Charger was always one of the old school ways that decks like this, like could play rank 5s, could just win, so I think that's really cool. And then his 1 link is 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. So that is the main deck side. Next, you guys, now I'm going to get into his in-depth reason as to why he played Cosmo, as well as the matchups he played against. So he said he wanted to play something fun, so I threw the Kozmo together. It's my favorite deck. I only put a bit of thought into it since I didn't have much time, so it's definitely not perfect, but he believes that it's a good start to build on and try to make the deck somewhat playable. Wicked Witch could arguably be at 3 card was insane. I think that's awesome. I'm actually, like I said, I'm a huge fan of this card. I've seen some stun decks in the past. Like, one of my good friends played a deck called Wicked Witch Stun, and this was a card that he, you know, really believed in because of how hard this card was to out for a lot of decks back then. And this card is still just really cool, so I like it a lot. Not being destroyed for the whole turn is nice. nice. Yeah, like definitely being able to keep that body on board is super important. Destroyer is obviously a best card in the deck along with Tin Can. That doesn't come as a surprise. I mean, anyone that plays Kozmo knows that the Destroyer and Tin Can are just awesome. The other ships are very meh, but you have to play them. Pot of Prosperity gives the deck a huge boost, as you literally don't need your extra deck other than for the Dogmatica reasons. And also you get to pick specific cards for pieces that your hand is missing instead of drawing 2 random cards that may not be able to help you play. I think that's really important to take note of, is that again, like I mentioned this, people who are on players that are on a budget, like I completely understand you can definitely pay extra, but if you do have Prosperity and if you do want to give Cosmos a shot, this card really helps you sculpt your hand. You're not just drawing random cards. Like, yes, you get that plus, but the ability to sculpt your hand to find the missing piece is what's so key in a deck like this. So I really like that he mentioned that as well. The ratios are a bit weird, but if you check the count, I literally ran what I felt was the bare minimum, and that's why I could only main 1 Mojo, as the other traps were much more impactful on their own. What is it? Ice Dragon's Prison, Torrential, etc. Just more impactful traps. Reasoning was nice because it almost always hit, and Kozmo needs more ways to summon other than normal. Makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Like, if you resolve this, most of the time it will resolve because the opponent won't know what to call. No hand traps because of reasoning, but also because I don't feel like there were any that were impactful enough for not only the room, but also Kozmo needs a lot of cards to play and compete, and hand traps don't contribute to that theory. Definitely, I agree with that as well, because certain decks, like, you want to draw like all gas, you want to draw all pieces of your engine. If you're drawing hand traps, like, while it may stop your opponent, they can still play, and it's basically going to contribute to more brick hands, and you won't be able to draw all the cards you need. So it makes a lot of sense. Torrential and Nadir were insane, especially because Nadir popped town to search the missing piece. That's true. If it came down for me going first and I had Ecclesia play or Tin Can play, I would just have to evaluate my hand to decide which would be better for that turn. Usually it was Tin Can to get things going and save the Ecclesia for the follow-up turn as a solid backup. Evenly Matched is an extremely underrated card. I definitely agree with that statement. In this deck, as you can manipulate the battle phase with the pilots easily. Also, you need cards in the deck for when they're able to clear your ships and you don't have any more monsters and traps on board. You can surprise them with Evenly, not to mention the boost for going second. I would like to play Strikes alongside the power traps, but the 1500 is steep, as Cosmos already struggle with life points. That's definitely true. In his side deck, he mentioned that Alpha and Paint gave him a huge boost going second. They were very solid. The rest of the side was tutored to what I expected to play at my locals, which didn't turn out, but in theory, the Yucca package was a huge blowout against siding Phantasme and Shifter against D-Link. D-Shifter is cool against a lot of decks that aren't grave reliant while not hurting my strategy in return. Matchups were pretty weak at the time around. I played Cubic, Evil Twin, Dino, and Eldritch, but going undefeated, I also play tested against PK/Orcus for good results. The deck obviously isn't the best, but it's a start to try and make the deck I love a little bit more competitive, and with the right play lines and decisions mid-game, you can do some cool things with it. Notable interactions include Entis being able to pop your ships/towns for additional pluses. That actually is very cool. I didn't even know that. Like, Entis being able to pop your town and stuff and your ships is nuts. Nadir gives, and same with Torrential, Nadir gives you access to the extra deck toolbox for Pegasus play, Skull Knight, etc. And like he said, I know Pod is expensive, but it makes a huge difference searching 6 deep for cards you missing such need instead of drawing 2 random cards that will not get you there. And it's just shout outs are to my brother Jerry and to me for the profile. So yeah, you guys, Cosmos in 2021, I think it's awesome. Shout out to you, Mason. This deck is really, really cool. I think anyone that wants to pick up Cosmos, besides Johnny, now there's another player that is, trying to bring the deck back, trying to give you guys something different to play. Like, I know you guys enjoy these lists because a lot of players are getting tired of the format because it is getting stale. While we did get a couple new decks from Ancient Guardians, like, we definitely want to see people revisiting decks, and I think it's awesome that he had success and is going to continue to work on this, and hopefully we'll definitely feature this deck again. But that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on Cosmos in 2021. If you're playing the deck, how are you tutoring it to this format? Because I know this format is pretty open, but it is pretty established as well as to what the best decks are. So how are you combating the best decks of the format with a deck like this? But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.